Thank you for listening to another episode of the Upstate Golf Guys podcast, where 518 golfs the Cape. We hope you enjoy. Welcome back to another episode of the Upstate Golf Guys podcast. Well, the Golfweek Amateur Tour came to an end, and I was very depressed this morning. So I gave Adam a shout, and I thought maybe it would be a good idea to kind of keep this Golfweek Spotlight going a little bit and keep in touch with the guys. So thought it would be a cool idea to do a little thing called player profile. We'll go over what got you into golf, some of your favorite clubs, your ups and downs of the season. We'll go over your favorite courses, some of your least favorite courses. And I thought it would be a perfect start to bring our director on. And he's here with me right now. What is going on, Adam?
How you doing? Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. Did you golf this weekend, sir?
I did. I played Saturday with Johnny's tournament there he had at the Winter Classic at the Old Post Road, and I had a great time. 24 guys were there, and we did 6 teams of 4. And it turned out to be a lot of fun. A lot of new guys that we weren't actually, aware of who was playing. We met some new faces.
Sweet.
Got our business cards out there. A lot of guys interested in joining up next year. So it was a very productive tournament for not only Johnny with how much work he put into it, but just getting the word out.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, before we get into some tour talk, let's get into you and your golf world, man. I'm sure a lot of the guys on tour want to know a little bit about when you got started and some of the ins and outs of what goes through Adam's brain with golf. So why don't you first tell me what got you into golf, buddy?
Well, I mean, originally, when I was young, I'm 41. I started playing around maybe 7 years old. My grandpa, he was very into golf. A lot of times we would go over, they lived in Fort Johnson, which is about 10 minutes from Johnstown, where I was from. And we would go over there. He would have all of the VHS tapes where he would watch on this TV about, how to play golf. He would be that guy too that he would buy everything on the infomercials. When it came to drivers, he would have all the weird drivers with like the holes in it and make the whistle noise and they'll get 30 yards. Kind of what they still do now, but he was very into golf. Um, you know, rest in peace. But he was 94 years old and he hit a hole in one down in Myrtle Beach. So I still have that trophy, but he played. My dad played, but he wasn't as into it as much as my grandpa. But I remember, playing at his house with one of his clubs and just had a natural swing. And he introduced me to the game and started me into a junior league over at a par 3 course, Holland Meadows, which is in Broad Albin. Real dump now. I wouldn't recommend going into it, but as a 7-year-old, 6-year-old kid with the precision drivers and like 4 irons, I think I had like a 9, 8, a 7, and a 6 with like one of the aqua colored wood drivers.
Yep.
I think it was a Tommy Armour. I don't even remember, but the first hole was a 105-yard par 3, and I remember I smashed a driver, and it was just short of the green. I felt mad good, hitting a drive about 100 yards when you're 6 years old. But I just fell in love with the game. I was self-taught. I never actually got lessons on my own. I kind of figured it out, do a little tips here and there by my grandpa, but a lot of it, we lived on 5 acres in Johnstown. So I would grab an iron and hit out in the backyard. Eventually I got good enough. I started hitting the neighbor's house. So I stopped doing that. But, I just played a lot of golf. As a kid, I got in a lot of tournaments. I remember the first one I ever won. I was about 11 years old over in a course in Gloversville. I played, there was about 35 juniors and ended up taking the W and got a trophy and a new set of clubs, which
Nice.
they were Spaldings, which back then, they had back then they had the tailor-made burners where they had the, little bubble shaft that you got that was
Yep.
like the new technology, but Spalding kind of mimicked them. So I remember I was pumped to have a brand new set of, irons and a driver from Spalding. It was, I started playing a lot. I was mainly into basketball, being I'm 6'5", that was my thing. Growing up, bitty basketball, junior basketball, AAU, all that stuff. But I played golf as much as I could on the side. Ended up playing in high school.
I was going to just ask, your high school had a team?
Yeah, Johnstown had a team. It was fun. I actually went to a private school, Perth Bible Christian Academy, so they didn't have golf. It was just soccer and basketball. But I would play on the weekends like I do now with the tour, whenever I got a chance. I remember when I was in Perth, in the summertime, I got a membership for Amsterdam Muni for like $200 for the summer. So I was there, outside of practice, I was there all the time playing. And then finally I went to Johnstown and played my 10th year, or my 10th grade year, and my senior year at Johnstown for the golf team. I had a lot of good success on the team. Got to play a lot of cool schools, in the area. And that was my real first, daily practice competition with other guys my age consistently. And, I really, had an edge on a lot of the guys playing. I was very successful in high school on the golf team. So
nice. What would you say your biggest strength is out there right now today on the golf course?
Probably leaving the course with a sad no. No, my strong point is my irons. Ever since I was young, a lot of the times, irons were a big key. We started off, with the precision drivers, and with the technology. I think anyone can really hit a driver now because of the technology. But irons are key. I spent a lot of work, hitting out, like I said, in the backyard, just out of the rough, in the trees, punching out of my woods. I call myself Iron Man because at the end of the day, I can only hit I'm not hitting Dustin Johnson 360 off the tee, but if I have a 6-iron in, I'm usually pretty solid with my iron. So that's definitely my strong point.
Nice. Now, what is in your bag right now? What's your clubs? I know you were thinking about selling a few and going with something different, but what is your set of choice today?
I mean, currently right now I'm playing the Callaway Smoke Paradigm Triple Diamond, which probably is the best driver I ever hit in my 30 plus years of playing golf. That was introduced to me actually by Johnny, who actually got it before me. And I remember hitting it on the 18th at Freer Park, and it just blew my mind and how good that driver was. And at the time I was playing the Stealth 2 prior, and the Stealth 2 is a great driver, which I just sold to another gentleman today about it. So I know he's going to enjoy it, but it was just a lot more spinny for my swing. I have a little over the top sometimes, so I like to hit the cut. But as soon as I hit the Callaway Smoke, it was just a different feel. So anyone who's looking to get a driver, I would recommend that one. I do still play with TaylorMade. I know that I have the TaylorMade 2 hybrid, which is I was always the type of guy who never used hybrids. I would always be a 3-iron or a 4-iron, 2-iron type guy, and I started smashing those. So I have one of those. And my irons are the ZX7s from Strixon, which I actually got before the Golfweek Am Tour got a sponsor through Strixon. So I'm really enjoying Those irons, I got them fitted to my height, 1 inch long with 2-degree upright. So it's definitely helping the golf game with the irons. I'm hitting better irons than I have. And then, of course, I got the SM10 or SM9 Vokeys. I play a 54 and a 58, and then I got the Opus Callaway 50-degree.
Oh,
So,
nice.
my bag is pretty scattered. It's mainly Callaway and Strixon, though, but definitely enjoy, the golf bag that I have now finally fitted to me. And of course, I have the blue, the diamond from, Lombardi, but I have the lab putter, the DF3, which I really enjoy that putter. I've always liked it since it came out, this past year. So, the
Nice.
bag is looking good. Of course, you gotta give the shout out to the ping flower bag. I call it the
Would you suggest fittings for like us C&D flight guys to actually get our irons fitted, or what is your suggestion there? When was the first time you actually got fitted for clubs?
Well, I mean, I was always the type of guy who, at 6'5", I just would buy something that would be either a stiff flex or an X stiff flex. Project X was really a few years prior. I had the Nike VR forged irons, and that was when I first got the X stiff shafts. Project X. So I did notice a difference from what I was just normally using on a standard set, but I didn't really get fitted ever. I actually just fit myself. So, there was a couple of years ago, which I had the VR Forge. I gave myself 2 inches on my clubs, which was nuts. So my 7-iron was playing like somebody's 3-iron. So I would be hitting my 7-iron like 190, which is it's way too much.
Yeah.
My best friend Salem, he had a standard set because he's shorter, and I remember him trying to swing my 8-iron, and it was actually longer than his 3-iron.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, it was too much. So if I'd have like 165 yards, I'd be pulling out a pitching wedge, and it felt good, but it was just inconsistent because I didn't really have a club for something under 120. So I ended up this year. I went to the 2-degree upright because I found out that somebody who tends to hit some fades. The 2-degree upright, tends to straighten out your club better at impact instead of having it open or closed.
Got you, man. Got you. Yeah, I got myself a nice set of irons last year from you, and I'm hitting them well. I hit my irons. That's definitely my strong point. My problem is around the greens and on the greens. I might even be putting the diamond away, man. I don't know. I was trying out another putter yesterday. I was trying the blade out, the PS 309 or whatever it's called, but hitting it a little better. It's not about the putter for me, man. I'm so jerky when I putt. I don't know what's going on, and it's just I need to work on the greens, bro. And this is your profile right now, not mine. So we'll talk about me later, but you could help me
Yeah, I
down the
mean,
road with that.
I mean the AP2s that you have right now, I really like those a lot. But
Yep.
I remember playing at Next Gen last winter, and one of the guys who, shout out to him, Ryan Greenhall, who actually works at a fitting place over in Latham. He actually had a set of those irons while we were playing one night on league night, and he couldn't really hit them well. He didn't really like them. And I remember I just grabbed them and I started swinging them in Next Gen. And it's like, how much are you going to buy these, sell these for? And he goes, they're not for sale. And I said, listen, money talks. And I ended up walking out with them that night. So, but
Nice.
yeah, I absolutely love the Strixon irons. But if you're a C or D flight, obviously you want to get fitted in a sense of what your ball flight is. If you pull a lot of balls, or if you're slicing or hooking them, uprights. If you want, if you're hitting a draw, you want to try to get more of a 2-degree down, so it allows your club face to be a little bit more square. If you hit, hooks over to the right side or whatever they're called, I call them fades, but you want to look into getting it uprights because it's just going to definitely help. And obviously, depending on how fast you swing, if you swing fast, make sure you get a stiff or an X stiff. If you're a medium swing, there's a senior flex, regular flex. You want something that definitely works with your swing. So recommend definitely getting a fitting for at least a driver. I think that's important.
Gotcha, man. Gotcha. So let's go to some courses, Adam. Let's go to one of your favorite. Give me your favorite course in New York State. Tell me your favorite, whether it's private, public. Give me one of your favorite. Doesn't have to be a course we played on tour. Just give me your favorite course growing up. Anything.
Probably my favorite course in New York is hands down Bethpage Black.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah, Bethpage Black. I remember playing it years ago for the first time. One of the members, Travis, he had a birthday in July. We ended up going down there as a group, four of us. It was a great day. We played it, and it was just eye opening. This was before they played it. I know Tiger won it there, in the '90s, but it was the first time I actually stepped foot on the course. And I've been there probably about 8 or 9 times since, but absolute gem. I mean, it's difficult. It really will open up your eyes, especially they don't have carts. You have to walk, but that's hands down between Bethpage Black and Bethpage Red. Both of those courses are on the top of New York for me.
My man, John from Golf Life Medals, he is right next door. He plays it every Friday, and he always plays with different guys. He said he enjoys playing with guys, but he doesn't try to teach them or tell them. He just likes to play his own game, and he walks, just carries his clubs, but he sees what these people do. And a lot of these guys are scratch golfers, and it'll be their first time playing, but they'll be in the rough thinking they're going to hit out of the rough with like a 5-iron or a 6-iron. And he's like,
Wow.
what are you guys doing? He's thinking in his head. He's like, I've seen people like break their wrist or like sprain their wrist trying to get out of there, or like their knees buckle, or it's just the rough is, he said, you just got to take a wedge and just get it back to the fairway. Like, you got to take your medicine, man. You cannot try to advance it.
Yeah, and those bunkers there are so deep. The first time I played it on hole one, they have a bunker on the left side, and green side. I hit my second shot in there, and I got out to about 3 or 4 feet. I ended up parring it, but I was actually exhausted raking the actual bunker because the entire bunker, it doesn't have stairs or anything like you would see like down in Hilton Head. So you basically had to rake, but your foot kept getting stuck. So it took me like almost 3 minutes to get out of the actual bunker.
Sliding down, and
Yeah,
no, I can picture
like
that, man. Real steep.
even like hole 9. I mean, there's a 14-foot high bunker in the middle of the fairway on hole 9.
That's crazy. Yeah, John said that the greens really aren't hard. He said that's not the hard thing at Bethpage Black. He said it's the bunkers and the roughs around it.
Yeah,
He said so.
I mean, I remember I played it, a week or 2 weeks before the PGA Championship when Brooks won it a few years back, and I ended up having a really good round, but I actually kept the ball in the fairway all but hole 16, and I was thankful because the other guys were exhausted at the end of the round. But yeah, it's definitely if you haven't ever played it, I highly recommend it. Good luck getting a tee time, but for a New York resident, it's
cheap.
It's almost as cheap. It's cheap. It's almost as cheap as Van Patten with a cart, which is crazy to me. But definitely try as much as you can in the summertime. Make a trip of it. If you do get a tee time with 4 people and you need one, you can always let one of us know. Me or Anthony would be happy to go.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. Let's go to Hilton Head now. What's your favorite course down at Hilton Head?
Hilton Head probably is the Robert Trent Jones course.
Okay.
That's probably my favorite, but it's a close call between that and Atlantic Dunes. I played Robert Trent Jones last year. Phenomenal layout, great views of the ocean right behind us. And Atlantic Dunes, we played there this year. The only thing that I like more about Robert Trent Jones is it plays more of a golf course. Atlantic Dunes is all strictly just fairway and OB. There's no rough.
That's absolutely insane.
It's insane. But
sounds so insane to me.
Yeah, I know Kevin from Champ this year can attest, and the D-Flight guys who played there on the Saturday. But it's a weird course. It's real nice. There's a lot of great scenery. But hands down, Robert Trent Jones, Palmetto, or Arthur Hills is my best course I played there. I mean, I really enjoy going there, and hopefully we can get back there at some point in the next few years, whatever flight I'm in.
Absolutely,
probably D-Flight.
I'm already looking forward to next year. I'm already looking forward to it. Gonna do things a little different next year, though. I already told you, with the taxi cab driving in the morning, it's gonna be a little different with the cab man. Anthony's not gonna be the taxi cab man, but
sometimes those the national championship is funny because when they've come out with the schedule, sometimes it's best to come up with a place to stay with guys that are close to those particular courses. It makes it much easier. This year in our house, we had champ and D flights mainly, except Steve Anu was the only C flight guy. So it made it much easier. Most of the guys got in the the car together and went to the same course. So that was nice compared to you, where you had to travel all over the island.
I was late a bunch because of this guy.
No,
I mean, my man.
Or Carl Cocktail.
I love him. I love him. I really do. Listen, I'll be late all the time for that kid if I had to be.
Yeah.
But Adam, before we go into more Golfweek Am talk and Nationals talk, let's stick with you. Give me you're a great golfer, man. You're an awesome golfer. Give one tip to a D flight golfer, whether it's a mind tip or a tip out there on the grass. What would you say to us to keep us going, man?
I mean, the biggest thing when I notice throughout the years I'm playing is that anybody who's a 15 plus handicap, they tend to lose their mind a little bit when they have a bad hole. Bad holes happen. I can give you an example that when we played this past week at Nationals, the par 3 15th at Atlantic Dunes is a par 3, but probably the hardest par 3 I've ever played. I see champ guys shooting 10s. I've heard that there was a 12. But then the next hole, what they do is they tee the ball off and they ended up birdieing it. So the biggest thing about golf is, between your ears, triples are going to happen. I mean, whether you think so or not, any C flight, D flight, you're going to get at least a triple or more, at least every other round. So if you hit a ball off the tee that goes in the woods, or if you have a bad hole, just shake it off. Start fresh on the next hole. Just say, okay, I just tripled this hole. Now I'm going to try to get a par here. I know that, for example, when we played one of the courses this year, I was with Adam Miller at the time, and we were in the golf cart together. I tend to like to play with different types of flights when I'm out there, just to meet the guys, get to know you guys. And I remember he was struggling because he had 2 or 3 triples in like 4 holes. And this is the beginning of the round, and I told Adam, I looked at him, and I said, "What are you flustered about? You're making it seem awkward in this cart." And he's like, I'm just terrible." And I was like, "Bro, like, just par 2 of the next 4 holes, and I promise you that you're going to be right up in the leaderboard again." And he ended up, he ended up parring the next 3 out of the 4, and took the win.
Yes,
and I just told him, I said, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter if you get a triple. It happens on the tour. I mean, Kevin Na took like an 85 one time on a on a hole, but obviously he didn't make the cut that year. But it didn't matter, because if you have a bad hole, I mean, obviously the triple bogey max helps. I mean, that does not do as much damage as it could be. I couldn't imagine the scores if that wasn't one of the things that the tour offers. But in general, just suck it up, deal with it, write the triple on the scorecard, and say, you know what, I'm gonna try to go 1 over on the next 4 holes, and you'll see you shoot right back up the leaderboard, because mistakes happen. But that's my biggest thing, is just the mindset, just remaining positive, keeping positive, encouraging yourself, enjoying yourself, and instead of worrying about the golf hole, maybe look at the birds, or look at the beauty of the course instead of that's what my dad always said. My dad was actually terrible at golf. He was probably the worst dad you could ever play with, because he would have the helicopter swing. At some point, he got so bad, he had a set of clubs, but he would only hit his putter off the tee, off the grass, on par 3s. It didn't matter. He would pull every shot he took was with a putter. So it was real bad.
That.
It was embarrassing, but he loved the game, and he would always say, "Adam, don't worry about your score. Just enjoy with the scenery, enjoy the birds and the trees and the flowers." And I'm like, "Okay, man," But now that I'm older, and he passed away, I look back and I appreciate it more, because of the fact that he was 100% right. We pay money to go out there and golf, to have a good time and compete. But obviously, when you're in Hilton Head, especially, the beauty of the courses and the surrounding areas and the weather and just the scenery, focus more on that instead of just having a triple bogey. And your rounds are going to be that much more enjoyable too, because you're not going to worry too much about the actual, tournament itself. You're going to enjoy it more.
Yeah, man, your dad sounds like an awesome guy. My dad, he's still with us, but he only golfs once a year, and I love playing with him. Same thing with the being terrible at golf, but I like playing with him just because he's hilarious, and he lets loose out there. Like it's just a bunch of motherfuckers. Motherfuck this, motherfucker. It's just so funny. Like my dad, I'm like, I never hear him curse except when he's out on the golf course. It's so funny because he gets aggravated, but he also knows he sucks. And it's just I play with Mikey and my dad once a year in that tournament with the JPM, and it's a lot of fun, man. There's nothing like playing with Pops, man. But let's go over.
I mean,
yeah, go ahead.
Just a funny story is that I was telling Johnny when we were in Myrtle Beach, we were playing at TPC Myrtle Beach, and he was starting off bad, and I was just trying to make him laugh, just to enjoy himself out there. And obviously, we were there to practice, but I was telling him the story about when we were playing. Myself and Salem, my best friend and my dad were playing, and we met a guest who came and joined us. So Salem at the time was really working hard. He started because of me, and he was trying to beat me. And he started hitting the ball well. And off the tee, I banged one about 290 dead straight. He hits one probably about 5-6 yards farther than me. Probably one of the better drives I've seen in like the first 4 years of playing. And it's just whatever. And my dad and this other guy were playing from the senior tees, and this guy who we were playing with, probably about 60 years old, hits his driver about maybe 190, 200. And my dad lost his mind. He's like, oh my gosh, it was the greatest drive you ever seen. My dad's pants got wet. And it was funny because I'm laughing, like whatever. And Salem, he was so mad for like 2 holes. He's like, what the hell is wrong with your dad? I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, dude, I hit a nuke. And he was over there praising this guy, and he was so mad that my dad was just so happy and thrilled about 190 yards. But it's probably because he didn't see the actual ball that Salem hit anyway. He had no idea where, when we hit. He had no clue.
That's great, though.
But and then he was taken back for like 3 holes. He was just upset, and it was literally the guy would chunk one, and my dad's like, "Wow, what a great swing you have there!" And it's just like, bro, like, dude, your dad is nuts.
not a great swing there. Not really that great of a swing. But no, it's just trying to have a good time out there. He was just trying to keep the positive vibes. He
brought the cooler, he brought the snacks, those peanut butter crackers, the waters, the sodas, the buttered sandwiches, whatever he brought in. It was just fun. But
that's awesome.
It was always good to play with him.
Before we go into a little break, Adam, I just want to read down now. I'm going to do this with everybody. I want to read down your season scores, if you don't mind. Starting with Old Post Road. All right. So Old Post Road, you shot a 75. Freer Park, you shot a 76. Airway Meadows, that was that rainy, brutal day.
Yeah, the old Rainway Meadows.
You still shot a 78. Very impressive. Saratoga Spa 77, Eagle Crest. What happened here, Adam? An 87. Tell me about Eagle Crest.
That was a difficult day. That one. There was a lot going on. I remember that day. I believe that was the same. I think that's when I drank a Zoa energy drink, and there was a wasp in it that went into my mouth. So
yikes!
That was a bad day. I was not focused at all. I just wanted to go home at that point.
Okay, I was wondering, and then because an 82 is high for you at Normanside, but Normanside is a brutal course. I mean,
especially then when we played that this year in that 2-day, it was if you didn't hit in the fairway, your ball was lost.
Was gone, right? So that's why I was saying 82 is actually a decent score there. Then you went 81-73 at Highland, which I know you were upset with day one at Highland because I played with you. We both played miserable. For me, I mean, I was in the hundreds. You were at the 81, and you knew we were both capable of a better score, which you came out and shot a 73 day 2, 72 at Capitol Hills in Albany, 81 at a really tough Crump and Fox, 77 Fairways of Half Moon, 80 Ranch day 1, 78 Ranch day 2, 78 Amsterdam Muni. 71 at McGregor Links. Great score there, man. That was the one I was like, holy shit, baby.
I went nuts that day.
That's awesome. And then Turning Stone, 86. The Revenge at Airway Meadows, you threw a 77 out. Van Patten, day 1, 78, and day 2, a 79. I mean, Adam, some great scores there, buddy. And I noticed Turning Stone, Shenandoah from the tips. I mean, one of the hardest courses in the state, right?
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely that round and Eagle Crest. What happened is a lot of the times as a tour director, you're checking everybody in. A lot of those low scores, things went smoothly, but those two events, I remember it was just kind of chaotic in the morning. So I never actually got the mindset of golf because I was dealing with a lot of stuff throughout the phone. No excuse, but it definitely was I was trying to sandbag too to get to sea flight, but it
Of
didn't work. But
course.
no, no, it happens. I mean, one thing I can say is that, my iron game has always been strong. Obviously, I had little pulls on the first day at Hilton Head, which actually angered me. I drove the ball well and putted well, chipped well, but it was just those second shots that were brutal for me at Hilton Head on round one. But I was really having the putter yips, which is my second strongest point of my game this year. For most of the season, I just felt uncomfortable, standing on top of the ball for a putt. I was very jerky. I decelerated a lot. I had no confidence until recently. I just I tweaked a few things, and the confidence is there. I know you were mentioning earlier that sometimes you feel the same way. Maybe you tense up or you tighten up on the green. It's probably it's the worst thing that you can have because putting is important. But for me, I just found out that instead of thinking too much about the putt, just let the pendulum go and, don't decelerate. Trust the read, trust the speed.
Yep. Yeah, I've been studying a couple videos on putting, and it really is about just trusting yourself. I mean, you can't stab at the ball, push through, and believe in it, man. And
That's it. I mean, it happens to the best of them. Look at Tiger Woods years ago when he couldn't chip. He used to almost kill the gallery from 20 yards from the green. So,
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
crazy.
things happen, but at least for putting, if you're struggling and you're listening to this podcast, now that the winter's coming to a fruition, except for Thursday, it's going to be the summertime. But use your house, use your carpet, putt around the house, get some cups from the cabinet, and just use that as an opportunity for you to practice throughout the wintertime. That was one of the things that my grandpa taught me is that even though you can't get to the putting green, carpets usually are close to what you see on that local area, and just use that as a way to practice. Chip outside if you got a little bit of lawn, or chip in your living room if you want. I don't know, but make
Chip
sure you
right
know how
into
to
the
sheetrock.
couch.
Yeah,
That's it.
make sure you know how to sheetrock the wall. But try it there too. That's what I do. I chip sometimes in the house.
Sure, why not, buddy? Sure. All right, Adam, let's go to a short, quick break, and then we'll be back and we'll talk some tour stuff. All right.
Sweet. Yep.
All right, man.
Hey, Mike, you know anybody does any roofing?
Actually, I do, Raj.
Who you got for me, man?
Dude named Tom Murphy did my boss's roof. Actually does hands-on work.
Gets right up there on the roof, huh? The owner of the company?
Yeah, he does. Knows his shit, too.
That's awesome, man. Is this Thomas Paul Construction?
Yep, that's him.
Man, I heard nothing but good things about them. I'm actually on their Facebook page right now looking up some things. The pictures, the aerial view, they're really cool. He gets up there with the drone. You can see the before and afters of some of the work they've done. Go check them out on Facebook. They're a new sponsor here, the Upstate Golf Guys. So make sure you guys go support Thomas Paul Construction, roofing and siding. Thomas Paul Construction LLC is a full-service construction company who specializes in roofing and siding, covering the greater capital region. You can reach them at 518-308-6794. Once again, 518-308-6794. And make sure to go check out their Facebook page, see some pictures of what they've done in the past, and let them know the Upstate Golf Guys sent you.
All right, we are back after this short intermission, and I have it on the screen right now. Adam, why don't you read it down for me, buddy?
Well, I mean, we got the Golfweek Amateur, the New York Upstate, where you can play all golfers, all skill levels, male or female. We have flights from champ through D flight. No matter what your handicap is, whether you're scratch or whether you're 19 above, you are welcome to on the tour. You can compete with us. We got a national championship every October in Hilton Head, as 22 of us were just recently there. We offer live scoring, great prizes, cash prizes, skins, you name it. No gin is required. Everything is done according to our national office. When it comes to your scores, we will put you in the right flight after you sign up, and help you in that aspect. But it's been in our 30th year, as you have on the hat. We celebrated this year 30 years with the Golfweek Am Tour. It's a really awesome tour nationally. The Not only myself as a tour director all over the country, there's great tour directors. Our main man, Dennis McCormick, and his staff do an incredible job each and every year, and it's an honor to not only play. A couple of years ago in Myrtle Beach, when I first got introduced to the tour, when my father passed, I was down there for 5 months, but I was able to bring it up to New York area because I knew that this was going to be beneficial to all golfers because of how exciting it was for me to experience it in Myrtle Beach. I knew that I wanted to bring this up to guys up in the Albany, New York area, and throughout the state of New York to, like you have been part of it, just the experience and the competitive nature and the camaraderie, not only with each other, but the long-term friendships that are made. So definitely, something that you want to definitely join if you golf at all. All the information can be found at amateurgolftour.net under New York Upstate. That's our region.
Yes, sir. And it is truthfully an amazing time, an amazing golf family. I'm not just saying it or pushing it because we do these Golfweek Spotlights. I wouldn't do these if I didn't believe in it and have a ton of fun. It's truthfully, they're my second family. Adam, you're a brother. You're a brother to me now, man. And
Yes, sir.
it's great having 35 brothers or sisters. I mean, there's a couple females out there on the tour, but that we can call and that we could go play golf with, and that we could talk golf with, or they could come on the podcast. And anytime they're welcome. Like I said, we're all family here now on the Golfweek Am Tour, and it's just a wonderful thing, man. And I don't even listen. I enjoy the competitive end of it, but I do it for the friendships, and I have, like I said, I have forever friends now, man. And it's great. It's amazing. I mean, I do love winning. I enjoyed winning that first week,
of course.
the trophy. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, even if you don't win all year long, I promise you will still have an amazing time with these guys. They're all welcoming. They're all open arms. And when I first came, I was a little nervous when I first joined tour, and I'll tell you what. Now I walk in there, I high five everybody. How'd you shoot yesterday? How'd you shoot today? I pump everybody up. It's really it's a fun time, and I don't think a lot of people want to take that leap over to the competitive golf because they're nervous or because they think, I'm going to embarrass myself. But don't think that way. Don't think that way at all. It's listen, like I said, some D flights won in the high 90s, right, this year. I mean, it's you could actually win throwing out a 98, 99. I mean, don't short yourself.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing about the tour is I was speaking to somebody on Saturday about it. They say that they probably couldn't compete in D flight. And I said, it's not about competing in the flight. It's more or less being able to go to an event, getting the competitive aspect of golf instead of just showing up and hitting a couple of balls off the tee or taking gimmies or just picking up. It's one of those things where you will play your first event, and whether you finish, strong, or whether if you finish on the bottom of the leaderboard, it doesn't matter. Nobody's pointing fingers at you. Nobody's mocking you. Nobody's insulting you. Everybody's just saying, hey, just hit the range. If you need lessons, I'm happy to help you out. Or, and next thing you know it, you're playing better at the end of the year because you start doing certain things that you would normally do by going and hitting a bucket of balls or even getting a lesson. Helping the local community when it comes to the PGA professionals that teach at different golf courses. There's a lot of good teachers out there, but the court, the tour is mainly, obviously we want to compete. We want to have a PGA Tour like feel when we come in there with a live scoring and playing against those of your same skill set. But at the end of the day, we're all out, to root each other on and get better. I mean, even as a champ flight player, as much as, I've had success this year on the tour, going down to Hilton Head and seeing a lot of the other guys, it just puts a bad taste in your mouth when it comes to how you play yourself. And instead of, I'm excited. I love the trip. The guys that I met were great, but now it just gave me a different mindset to say, you know what, I got to get better. and focus on that throughout the winter season. And just, you learn a few things as you play. There's a lot of guys that this year, especially, that I can give kudos to when it comes to how they used to play in the beginning and how they finished, just by playing on the tour. So it's definitely worth it. You don't have to play each and every week, which is a nice thing. A lot of guys that I've talked to say, well, I can't compete each and every week. Like it's some type of a league at your local, course, public or private. If you want to play in 3, if you want to play in 6, if you want to play in all of them, it's completely up to you. But in order for you to make nationals, it's just a 4-round limit. So you just sign up, and if you play 4, you're more than likely going to get an invite for the national championship in October each and every year. So it's 100% recommended. You're going to have a lot of fun, especially this year. A lot of big things are happening.
I have a little bit of depression coming over me that the season's over, to be honest. That's how much fun I had this year. I mean, I'm a little sad, man. Not going to lie to you.
It is, yeah. It's New York, obviously, is a quick turnaround. We got May through the end of September. Obviously, we have some weird weather coming this week. Hopefully, if you guys are able to play Thursday, enjoy that, 80 degrees. But, obviously, we can still play up until November. I mean, to me, playing in 45, 50 degrees is obviously good to get out, but it's still too much. You start wearing like 100 layers and things get weird. But it's definitely sad, but we look forward to starting it up next spring. We got a lot of things happening this year. You and I are obviously working on some ideas to benefit the tour. We're gonna have some raffles over the winter time for memberships, courses, and entries. Even a couple of national championship raffles we're going to be sending out. For you to be able to do that. We're going to have a couple of new sponsors this year. I'm going to be getting a whole new makeup of the entire tour. We're going to get some new signs, new advertisement. So it's going to be a new look. We got a lot of changes, not only for the tour, but just the camaraderie and the way that tournaments are going to be run. It's going to be a better feel this year than we ever had. Looking to get our numbers up. We did have a great year. I know I'm pretty happy about that still, because when we went to the tour directors meeting the Wednesday at Nationals,
they were
brought up
raving.
some.
They were loving it. Every I went up and when I signed in, they were like, "Oh, you're part of the Upstate Tour. Oh, they're doing big things up there." Mikey went up. They said the same thing to Mikey. Then when I went up to that was at sign-ins on Thursday night. Then when I went in Friday morning, it was a different guy. And I said, Anthony, for Upstate. Oh, you're an Upstate Tour? It was like every guy that I talked to, man.
Yeah.
I was like, damn, Adam. I was like, what you do? What you do?
Yeah, I mean, when I went to the tour director meeting, I was excited for it. Obviously, you learn a lot of different things. We gave a lot of kudos to Dennis this year for the 30th anniversary. He had some awesome gifts that we, as the tour directors, got him. But it was a real proud moment. Not only that I hit the over 100 members, because last year we ended up at like 89 in our second year. And I remember getting in the tour directors meeting, and I saw the awards, and I said, I want to get to that 100 member. So I finally did it this year, thanks to you guys who made it possible by playing. But we even had 40% growth from last year until this year, so that was huge. We got I think second was like 8%. So we smashed our percentage when it comes to growth. And it's like I said, I mean, I do what I do to keep it going with the scheduling and all the emailing and the pairings and whatnot. But it all comes down to you guys. Like I said in that video earlier on my Facebook page, it's all thanks to you guys. That award that I got with the tees and that little cup, if you pull it up on our Facebook page, that's for you guys. That award is all for you. I don't take credit for it. It's all you guys. But next year I want to hit that. I told Dennis, I said, forget the 150 club, forget the 175 club. I'm going for the 200 member club and beyond.
Let's go. I love it.
So last year Dallas was 283, was the highest of the regions. That was what they had. I want to eventually this year or next year, I want to be the top region, across the country. And it all, stems down to you guys and just advertising it and getting the word out, because we can do it. I mean,
absolutely.
I truly believe it.
Huge events, and then it'll be bigger prize pools. We'll close the course down. You know what I mean? There will be less backups because they're not bringing public people on in between us, which we know the
No.
courses do that. So, yeah, that's if you get the bigger, if we get to 200, then bigger and better things. So everybody bring a friend. Everybody bring a friend next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's a simple thing. I mean, you could just let them know, like, hey, you play golf? Yeah. Well, do you enjoy playing tournaments? Sure. Well, join this tour. You give them the website, amateurgolftour.net, and just say New York Upstate. There's a lot of info, or, invite them on the Facebook page. Go to your friends list. Anybody you know that golfs, just invite them to the page. We have
And
a
a
lot of
big
great
thing,
information.
like you said earlier, and it is on that flyer, there is no GIN needed. So basically, just when you come into your first event, if you shoot in the 90s, go into D flight, start in D flight, because you're going to be playing competitive golf. You're going to have to go to the hole, everything to the hole. There's no gimmies. You're playing all the rules. So I tell everybody, add 5 strokes to your average round, because nobody really goes to the hole every time, and everybody
No.
plays gimmies. So if you're in the 90s, start in D flight. And if you feel funny about playing in D flight, then you'll move up quick. It's easier to move down than move back up. So,
yeah, and the nice thing about the tour that I love the most is the fact that the sandbagging thing doesn't happen. I mean, it's very, very accurate with how they do
yeah,
scores nationally. They move you and they adjust you accordingly. I mean, you can come in as a D flight at a 20 handicap and you shoot like an 89, which is fine, and a 90, and then they move you. They don't just say, "Oh, okay, maybe you just had a good round. We'll keep you in D flight." No, they're very good. Obviously, the more rounds you have, the less that your score goes up and down. So if you are new and you have a couple of rounds where you get quickly moved, I know last year, or this year actually, we had Mitchell, who was in C flight, or I'm sorry, D flight. No, I'm sorry, yeah, C flight. He played Old Post Road first round, shot like an 84, and he went to B flight just like that. So, they do what they need to do to make sure that you're in the right flight. So that way we don't have the issue of somebody coming in and just, stealing the show all year round and just winning everything. So it's very good. They do a great job.
it's very
They've been
fair.
doing it for 30 years. I mean, they know what they're doing. It's the best amateur tour in the country. It's better than Amateurs Player Tour or the USGA tour that is starting up. We did the numbers and we're smashing those other tours. So the Golfweek Am Tour is going to be, and still is, the best amateur tour across the country, and the numbers prove it.
Love it, buddy. I love it. All right, Adam, with that said, man, do you want to head home and go to bed for the night, or you want to keep this thing rolling? Because I'm pretty beat. But no, it's awesome getting to know you a little more, the inside of what goes on in your golf mind, and some of your favorite courses and the whole nine with what we chatted about. It was fun. And I'm looking forward to chatting with some of the other guys and getting them on here and picking their brains.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing that. And one thing I wanted to make mention is that for those listening, tour members or not, probably starting at some point right after Thanksgiving, the memberships start opening up for 2025. We're working on right now a special for a cheap membership for the year. I can promise you that it's not going to be more than $85 to start. This $85, obviously, people wonder what it is sometimes. It's a membership for the tour that goes directly to the national office. That's money that goes to them because of what they do on their end. They spend countless hours running the tour, live scoring, everything you need to do to have a productive tour and the best experience of golf in your life. So that goes to them, but that allows you to play both on the New York Upstate Tour, but anywhere nationally, which is awesome. So if you decide you want to take a trip or go somewhere, we got awesome regionals throughout the entire season, throughout the country. We're working on one right now for New York Upstate at Turning Stone, which is going to be a phenomenal. I'm dealing with Turning Stone now to get that worked out, with plus some deals on hotels, hopefully. 128 players expected for that. I am promising you that. I'm going to make sure of it. But, like I said, I mean, whether you're a scratch or whether you're a 19 plus, it doesn't matter. Get on the tour. Don't delay it. Don't not think about it. Just do it. Give it a try. Trust me. Make sure you meet me or Anthony when you do show up. If you need to get more information, use the Upstate Golf Guys podcast. We talk about it a lot. Use my website, Facebook. You name it. The information is there, and just get on board. We want you. We want you on the tour. We want to hit those numbers, obviously, but don't delay it.
No, man.
Just try it out for 2025, and I promise you'll be part of the family. And you won't stop playing.
Come kick my ass, you sea flighters. I bet you can't. Come on, I'm challenging you.
That's it. You can beat Anthony in C flight, and you can come challenge me in D flight.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Let's go.
I love it. I love it.
Again, I just want to thank all of those who played this year. It means a lot. Hopefully you guys all, come back and rejoin the tour this coming year. You guys are awesome. For those that went to nationals, I know we didn't have the best showing, but we all had a blast. I appreciate you guys getting out there and, spending the money to get out to nationals, and hope you all enjoyed yourself. And thanks again for everything you do, because without you guys, the tour wouldn't be anything. I'm just a director. That's it. I just make sure there's nothing crazy happening, but it's all because of Anthony, Anthony with his podcast. But I appreciate that, but it's all you guys. That's all I do it for. I do it for you guys. Nothing more.
No problem, Adam, and we really appreciate you as well. I've thanked you on and on again, but next year, I before we go to nationals, I'm going to get like a patch of Bermuda grass here and practice chipping off the Bermuda grass for like a month before I go. Maybe I'll shoot a little better.
We're going to win it next year.
Let's go, baby. It's tough down there. It really was tough conditions, and just not used to it, man. That's all it is. But all right, man. Well, we'll let you go for the night, and I appreciate everybody tuning in to this episode of the Golfweek Spotlight, brought to you by the Upstate Golf Guys podcast. Have a good night, guys.
See you later, guys.